Well, can you de-radicalize an ISIS militant? Syria is trying to do just that with a terrorist rehab program that has 100 former ISIS fighters and sympathizers currently enrolled. Ryan Mauro is the national security analyst at the Clarion Project and joins us now to weigh in. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So rehabbing ISIS radicalist, or ISIS terrorist, we should say, is that possible? How would that be possible?
If it's going to happen, it's going to be them having an epiphany on their own. This isn't something that you can de-radicalize them from in 99.99% of cases because they're already on the level of extremism at a level 10, and they're part of essentially an apocalyptic death cult. And so to try to take that person and then turn them into a freedom-loving, peaceful person is something that you just can't implant in their brains. And by the way, in the past, previous programs have been sort of like trying to treat a heroin addict with crack cocaine.
I was going to ask you that. You know, is there any previous program, any past history of success or failure, or what does this even mean based on?
In the past, what a lot of these programs have done is said, this specific group is bad, so you shouldn't join them. You should turn away from them. And they try to redirect some of their extremism, but the underlying extremism, the belief in theocracy, hating Jews and Christians, all of those themes still remain. And so I have not seen a de-radicalization or terrorist rehab program that says we're going to go after the Islamist ideology as a whole and use that as the dividing line, and the barrier for success has to be that they are now believing in secular democratic values, which is a high barrier. But anything below that, you are an enemy of the West.
Yeah, and that sounds like being turning them away from a certain area prior to being fully radicalized. Also, you were saying that one of the key questions is who is holding the territory where this is actually happening.
Right. Well, who's funding the operation? We know specialists are unpaid. You look at the program, and these terrorists go and they have a big TV, they play sports, they get entertainment, and they take a test, and if they pass the test, then they're considered to be de-radicalized, and that might result in a reduced sentencing. So the program itself doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but then also, who are these so-called moderates that you're bringing in? Because again, if you're using the rehab analogy and that terminology, you might be bringing in another type of radical connected to the Muslim Brotherhood and simply redirecting them from one group to another jihadist cause. And that's why I say it's like giving crack cocaine to a heroin addict and saying problem solved.
Right. Because we do know, I mean, it's not just ISIS isn't the only radical group out there.
And in Syria, I mean, you have so many radical groups that even if for the moment you de-radicalize one of these individuals, okay, they now go back into Syrian society, they're surrounded by radicals.
One more question, though, and we're out of time. Would this allow someone maybe to get back to another country where they can say, well, he's been through this program, he's been de-radicalized, so now he can get a pass to come back home?
Well, imagine having that on your resume as an aspiring terrorist.
That's a concern.
I mean, you can say, look,
if it goes to that
I have proof I'm a moderate. I went through this program, and you should hire me for your university, have me as a speaker. I mean, it's a good way to continue the cause in a different way if someone is more of a closet extremist and is smart about how they do this.
We need to think about that. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.